Broadcasting down in the bayou, it's Mark Out Mania, a podcast featuring two average Joe wrestling fans talking about the business they love and so much more. And now, here's Ryan Keith and Patrick Fry.
And welcome to episode 9 of a very special Mark Out Mania. Patrick, tell them what's going on, man.
It is the Wrestle Kingdom 12 official preview show. Of course, Wrestle Kingdom will be broadcast live starting 2 a.m., pre-show at 1 a.m. Central local time here in the States. I think it starts at like 5:30 in the afternoon or something like that over in Japan, but that doesn't matter here. So 1 a.m., pre-show, 2 a.m. Thursday morning, officially Thursday morning. I know some people out there, they were having confusions of whether it be Thursday night, Friday morning, or Wednesday night, Thursday morning. It'll be like Wednesday night, Thursday morning. So, and right now it's Tuesday, January the 2nd, our first show of the brand new year as well. And we're talking nothing but Wrestle Kingdom, the biggest show that New Japan has all season long. And we're going to have a very special guest joining us in just a minute.
Right. You can find us online at MarkOutMania.com. That's where you can touch us on all our social media. That's where you can find where our podcast is, I guess, downloadable and listenable at. Tons of different stuff. We just got iHeart on board, so you can check us out there, iTunes, and a whole bunch of others, MarkOutMania.com. Also, our Patreon account. Man, we got our first supporter of the show, dude.
Hell yeah, and I know the guy personally. Brink knows him personally.
Heck
you haven't met him yet, but you would enjoy him, especially if you're a Dallas Stars fan. You'd really enjoy him. He wears this big Mike Modano sweatshirt, jersey thing back when it was the Minnesota North Stars. Really cool jacket. But yeah, he's a cool cat. Brand new to New Japan. He just learned about New Japan thanks to Brink, and same story for me. But he likes the show. He's a fan. He listens every week, and we're glad that you're giving us your $9 a month there, Cruz.
Right. So, Cruz, thank you so much, man. We appreciate you. And, of course, with his level, he's going to be a guest on the show at some point.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, so we're going to book him on the show.
We'd love to have Cruz
We'll talk
on the
some
show.
wrestling. We'll talk some New Japan.
And he's also able to listen to the show live right now via the Discord app, which I think he might still be sleeping, according to Brink. But Cruz, you still got time. We're going to be here for probably another close to an hour, so you got time to wake up and get your butt on the Discord app and come listen to us live. And if you ever listen to us live on the Discord app, there is a chat room, so you guys can also leave us questions while we're doing the show live, and we'll gladly answer any questions some of you guys may have. Exactly.
So there are many levels of giving, all the way from $1 all the way up to $50. So there is a level for you. Check it out. Go to MarkOutMania.com on the front page. Check out the Patreon link. And if you want to support the show, we would appreciate it. All right, guys, take it over.
All right. Well, like I said, it is our Wrestle Kingdom 12 official preview show, and it wouldn't be an official Wrestle Kingdom preview show if we didn't get our New Japan pro wrestling expert, Jonathan Brinkman. We call him Brink, but his name is Jonathan Brinkman. You can find him on Twitter at Rainmaker Conga. That's Rainmaker Conga. Go follow him on Twitter. He knows everything New Japan Pro Wrestling and everything wrestling in general, but especially New Japan Pro Wrestling. Jonathan Brinkman in the studio with us here today.
What's up, fellas? What's up, man?
Not too much, man. You know, I know you're real excited for Wrestle Kingdom 12 coming up. You've been talking about it probably since Wrestle Kingdom 11.
I've only been waiting for it for, 3 months now? Something like that. And it's been a long build-up, yeah.
They started the build-up, at least, I think Omega Jericho was probably the first real build-up they had. I think it was back in November, huh?
It was probably before that. I think it was at King of Pro Wrestling. Omega defeated Beretta, and after that match is when the Jericho video that is now infamous was played for the first time. And then at World Tag League is when Jericho appeared and beat the hell out of Omega.
Absolutely. And then the whole press conference thing after that. So, me and Ryan have been saying, such a great build-up to this Omega Jericho match. I mean, what's your thoughts on the build-up?
It's one of the best build-ups I've seen in a while. And what I love about it the most is that it's so simple. Yeah. Like WWE tends to overbook things and overdo things, especially having a weekly TV show. New Japan built up one of the best matches literally in 3 segments. Mm-hmm. The King of Pro Wrestling, at the World Tag League Finals, and the press conference the next day. Yeah. The rest has been basically social media.
Right.
But only appearance-wise, it's only been three things, and it's one of the best build-ups in years.
And I think the reason for that is that With WWE, you said, how they kind of, it's almost like overkill when they try and build something up. By the time they do all this overkill and everything, people might get a little tired of it already before the match even happens. Whereas for New Japan, they only had the 3 segments, and it's like, that's all we get? Like, people now just are chopping at the bit to watch these two get in the ring, especially the platform, New Japan Pro Wrestling, Wrestle Kingdom 12.
Sometimes less is more, and New Japan is real good at that. They don't have a weekly show like a Raw or SmackDown to fall on. They run basically like tours, and they make the most out of those tours. I mean, when the big shows come and they have a big angle that they want to run, like they've done with Jericho and Omega, I mean, they knock it out the park.
Oh, absolutely. So. And not to mention, I mean, look, I don't know as much about New Japan as you do, but I've watched enough now to, see the in-ring talent that New Japan has is absolutely unbelievable. Now, not to say that WWE doesn't have that in-ring talent as well.
They do, because a lot of it used to be in New Japan.
Exactly. And I think the difference is New Japan, I believe, probably lets their superstars go out, and they're a lot more flexible as far as what they can do, whereas WWE is a lot more strict as far as what they allow their wrestlers to do. So that right there is a big advantage for New Japan Pro Wrestling. Because I tell you what, the top 3 rated matches of the year, according to Dave Meltzer, was Omega Okada, and Omega Okada.
I was about to say, for y'all's match of the year, y'all could have just picked either or any of those matches, because all 3 of them were 5 stars or above.
Well, the reason I didn't pick that match, and overall should be the match of the year, but the only reason I picked Pete Dunne,
I'm still mad that y'all didn't. I'm still mad y'all didn't pick Omega Okada as feud of the year.
Well, and that was it did cross my mind, but it's that's the thing, like. In WWE, the feuds are like the Roman, the Reigns and Strowman feud. All was like, it felt like it took the whole year up, because they were fighting just nonstop, flipping ambulances, throwing each other into ambulances off of whatever it is they've been throwing each other off of, through tables and all kind of stuff. Whereas, those 3 guys, they only had those 3 matches, and granted, the 3 best matches of the year rating wise. I don't know. It just felt like, maybe it's because I didn't watch that much New Japan earlier this year. To me, I guess I didn't catch that much of that feud, and I don't know how much of the build-up they did for those 3 matches.
It also goes back to what we were talking about earlier. Less is more.
You're right, yeah.
Because they only built that first matchup at Wrestle Kingdom for a couple months, because Omega won the G1. Mm-hmm. And then after that match happened at Wrestle Kingdom last year, they didn't even talk about that match until Dominion, which was in June. So they waited 6 months before they went back to it, and Omega said on interviews he wishes it would have been longer. He thought it was already too soon to have that match. Mm-hmm. But they waited 6 months between 2 very big matches throughout the entire year, if not wrestling history. Do you think WWE would have waited 6 months to one of their big matches? They didn't, because like you said, Strowman and Reigns fought all year long.
Oh, yeah.
And it's not knocking him. That was a great feud.
Oh, yeah.
Still is a great feud if they'd ever decide to go back to it. But
and Roman is the only guy to pin Strowman in WWE so far. But my reasoning behind choosing Tyler Bate and Pete Dunne is the fact that...
And I'm not mad at that either, by the way. That's a hell of a match.
Yeah, it was a hell of a match. Especially, it was like I said, I picked it because of the stage that they were on. Whereas, Omega Okada, main event of Wrestle Kingdom, obviously, you knew that match was going to be absolutely spectacular. But, the Pete Dunne and Tyler Bate, the second match of an NXT takeover that wasn't part of WrestleMania, it wasn't part of SummerSlam, Survivor Series, or the Rumble. It was just one weekend. I think it was around Labor Day weekend, May 20th, I think is what it was.
So.
Not Labor Day, I'm sorry, Memorial
But
Day.
regardless, they were in Chicago.
And they were in Chicago, and it was the second match of NXT TakeOver. Like, it wasn't even the main event or, like, the second to last. The second match, not even the first match. Like,
and
the
depending
second
on,
match is one of those slots where you wouldn't put a great match, not the best match at least, and that was arguably the best match of that night.
Well, that was arguably the best show of the year WWE had all year long too. So that just shows that the second match on that card was possibly match of the year for a lot of different people on an NXT show that just in Chicago. Wasn't nothing special about it, but the people who worked that show made it special.
Yeah, you're right. So, but that's my reasoning behind it. We're getting into a WWE thing. We said that this would be a New Japan show, and that's what it's going to be. So what we're going to do now, before we get in talk about the show, I want to talk to Brinkman about we've been, Ryan, obviously you two, we've all been wrestling fans for a long time, but New Japan, you just kind of started watching New Japan probably in the last couple of years
couple of years, yeah. With all the streaming services that are available now with the internet and technology, it's a lot more easier. I don't even think that's proper English. My mom would kill me, but
might kill you too.
Yeah, it's a lot easier to access other companies around the world now than it was even 5 years ago. So I always knew they had wrestling in Japan. One of my favorite wrestlers is Great Muta, especially back when he was in WCW. That's what really got me interested in it. But just the past few years, I've become a subscriber to New Japan World, and I've watched a lot of New Japan, and just I've fallen in love with it. It's made me love wrestling all over again. Mm-hmm. So
I think the moment when most American wrestling fans kind of got introduced and fell in love with New Japan is from the Omega Okada one. Because most American fans, and maybe most fans around the world that don't live in Japan, probably didn't see the build-up like you were talking about. But, by God, did we hear about the match and then go back and check it on YouTube and go, holy hell, this is amazing.
Well, I think Okada Omega, I think it opened eyes bigger.
Right.
Because I think originally when AJ Styles went to Japan after he left TNA, I think that got a lot of the American people talking. Like, okay, Styles is over there doing his thing. And then he came back. And then Okada Omega just took what AJ kind of opened up and just exploded it.
Yeah.
Yeah, because Dave Meltzer, I think he's been rating matches for years now.
Oh yeah,
and I don't know before the Okada Omega match at Wrestle Kingdom last year, but I think his rating system was like 1 to 5.
It's 1 to 5,
and that was the first. Was that the first ever 6-star match?
I think all 3 of them.
If it wasn't ever the first 6-star match, there was very few and far between 6-star matches that Dave Meltzer gave, and that was it.
I don't think he'd ever done 6 stars before until January 4th last year.
Yeah, and
then he gave out
that right there. I think is what caught a lot of people's eyes. Everybody went back, including myself. I went back and watched that match, which lasted, I think, 50 minutes. I mean,
48 minutes, something like that.
It was a very, very long match, but holy cow! I mean,
they were strong the whole match,
and they were doing moves that you would never see in WWE, and it was absolutely amazing.
Well, it's a different culture over there. It's a different atmosphere. I don't want to say they're not as worried about injuries over there as WWE is, but they're not. The way they're trained in their dojos and the way that they're brought up in their wrestling, they're trained to hit hard, but not hit hard. If that makes any sense. So I think it's just the upbringing, really.
Yeah, and it's just.
I think that's why a lot of Japanese stars, when they come to the States, don't do that well, except for the exception like Muta.
Yeah, because like I was saying earlier, WWE, they have a lot more restrictions as far as what they're allowing their superstars to do in the ring, partially because of this whole concussion lawsuit that they're going through right now. The reason why they don't let Daniel Bryan wrestle, but
GTS just got banned.
Yeah, and then they banned the curb stomp from Seth Rollins.
And that goes back to my point about Hideo Itami is great. I've seen a lot of his Japanese stuff. He is fierce. He is watered down in WWE because he can't do a lot of his stuff. And when he does do his stuff, he breaks Brian Kendrick's face.
Exactly. So. Yeah, poor Brian Kendrick. But yeah, so but we're getting ready to do the preview show for New Japan Pro Wrestling. Let me go ahead and silence my phone there.
Let me ask Brink one question before we go. So I noticed on your Twitter handle, it's Rainmaker
Conga. Yeah.
Does that have something to do with New Japan? Because I see Okada's as Rainmaker.
Rainmaker. Yeah. It's Okada's always been one of my favorites. So with my Twitter handle, I just made it Rainmaker. Conga's been a nickname I've had for years now. One of my buddies gave it to me working at the casino. And I just added Rainmaker to it. It's my on the video games, that's my wrestler's guy's name is Rainmaker Conga. So he's one of my favorites, him and Naito, Omega, and we're going to get into all that here in a bit. But it's a New Japan reference.
Right on.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, let's dive into it. I know everybody out there is waiting to hear basically, we were saying, I was at least telling Ryan, I told you this, I think the other night, Brink, that I want this show. Anybody wants to know anything about the Wrestle Kingdom show, this is the place to do it. So first and foremost, I mentioned the start time. It's going to be 1 a.m. Central Time Thursday morning.
Jeez.
Thursday morning, 1 a.m. Central Time. The actual show starts at 2 a.m. Central. Is that correct?
Yeah. The 1 o'clock is going to be similar to WWE's pre-show. They're going to have a Rumble-type match, which in their match, that's normally like a lot of the lower card guys who don't have a spot on the show. They'll bring back some legends every now and then and have them do a couple spots in the match or something like that. But that's basically all that's going to be. I'm not even sure if it's going to be 20 or 30 people. I don't remember how many they did last year. But it's just going to be like all right, here's some of the guys that we don't have anything planned for them for the big show. Let's throw them on the card so they still get a spot on the card, and let's bring some legends back, make the crowd happy.
Now, for anybody who doesn't know that doesn't know where or how to watch the show, that wants to watch the show, tell them how they can get access to watch the show.
We will be watching, I don't think they do any streaming except for their official website, which is NewJapanWorld.com, NJPWWorld.com. It's only it seems like a lot because it's 999 yen a month. But
it's pretty much the same price as the WWE.
It's cheaper than the network.
It's
a little over $9
okay,
American.
Well,
that's with tax. So
yeah,
it's like
guys,
$9.19,
you're getting arguably the greatest wrestling show on the planet, probably as far as in-ring wrestling goes, for less than $10. So New Japan World, NJPW World.com.
Yep.
Now, I've been to that website before. At the top, there's going to be now you're going to open it up and
you won't understand a thing.
It's going to be all Japanese letters, but I think there's a thing kind of towards the top, maybe the middle of the website, the homepage.
It'll say
like JP or something.
It'll say Japanese or English. Yeah,
and you can choose English, and everything will be in English. So don't freak out if y'all log on there and y'all see all these Japanese words like I did when I first logged onto that website. So be sure to go and check that out if you want to watch.
Yep.
Wrestle Kingdom starting at 1 a.m. Central Thursday morning. But we're going to go ahead
and we'll be watching live at my house.
Yeah, I'm still debating on if I'll make that or not. But we'll see when we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. So what we're going to do now, we're going to go ahead and dive right in it. They already released the match order for for Wrestle Kingdom. So what we're going to do is we're going to go and we're going to talk about these matches in that order. Now, they have the New Japan Rumble. We don't really know much about it other than, do you know anything about it?
I don't. I don't know if it's going to be 20 or 30 people. They'll have some younger guys. They'll have some mid-quarters. They'll have some legends that come back. There's a lot of guys in it last year that I didn't recognize, but they're New Japan legends from back from before I was watching. So
yeah,
it'll be it ain't going to be nothing special. But it's going to be kind of cool to see some of the legends and some of the other guys interact.
Similar to an Andre the Giant Memorial
similar,
Battle
very
Royal
similar, yeah.
at WrestleMania.
The only difference would be that for New Japan, they're actually going to have intervals. Somebody's going to come out every minute or so. So
okay, well,
yeah.
Speaking of, we'll talk about this. I was going to talk about the Women's Rumble. Basically, the Women's Rumble for the WWE, same exact thing as the men's now. So
good. That's the way it should be.
Yeah, Kurt Angle came out on Monday Night Raw last night, said basically same exact rules: 30 men every minute and a half, and they're going to have surprise entrance, I'm pretty sure. So let's go into the main card now.
Okay.
Wrestle Kingdom. The first match will be for the IWGP Junior Heavyweight Tag Team Championships. It features, see if I get this right, Roppongi 3K.
Finally.
I got it right. Roppongi 3K, Sho and Yo.
Sho and Yo, yep.
They're going to be defending their titles against, the Young Bucks, Matt
Bucks.
and Nick Jackson, which you touted as maybe one of the best.
Oh, arguably, they're one of the best tags.
Tag teams. And the thing about the Young Bucks, they've had a good year too. Of course, I think they've been kind of riding the coattail of Kenny Omega.
Anybody
rides the coattail of Kenny Omega, you're gonna, of course. Now their in-ring ability, I can't question the greatness that is in the ring, but they're just them as people. I don't know. I feel like they're a little too cocky. They're not humble.
Well, that's their gimmick. They know that they're better than everybody else, so why not act it?
Yeah, I guess you got a point. So
and they sell tons of merch.
Yeah, they do sell.
Axe Hot Topic.
Yeah, they do sell tons of merch. They made a lot of money off
that
Young Bucks shirt
of money
this year. But
yeah.
Tell us about these two teams and how you think this match is going to go down.
I think everybody listening knows about the Young Bucks.
Right.
They're one of the top teams, arguably, in the entire world, much less in the junior division. Roppongi 3K is two young boys, two young lions that finished up in the dojo, went on their excursion overseas. They went to Mexico and the States. They wrestled a lot in Ring of Honor, so any Ring of Honor fans will recognize them. I can't remember that. They didn't use Roppongi 3K. They used a different name, and I can't think of it right now. The Tempura Boys. They wrestled at the Tempura Boys. They just came back, I think, in October at King of Pro Wrestling. Their first match back defeated Taguchi and Ricochet to win the titles. Then they went on to win the junior tag tournament, and then they're defending against the Bucks at Wrestle Kingdom. I don't see Roppongi 3K losing here. I think Young Bucks put them over, and in an opening match that is going to set the tempo for the entire Wrestle Kingdom card. It's going to be, I don't know how long it'll last, but it's going to be action-packed.
Yeah, you always want to put, because I remember Jim Ross used to always say, you want to put your first match something that will certainly get the crowd going. Because,
this will get the crowd going.
And I'm pretty sure it'll get the crowd going. So you got Roppongi 3K
I do.
defeating the Young Bucks.
I'm not going
to give any predictions because I really, honestly, I don't know because... I mean, like I said, I don't know much about the history, except maybe Omega and Jericho. I don't see a scenario where Jericho's going to win, but you want to put something in here?
Yeah, Brink, you said something about a junior division. What's that all about?
In New Japan, they hold the weight divisions a lot more strictly than WWE does. Now, I mean, WWE now is doing good with 205 Live, but New Japan has a great history of junior heavyweights. I think they use 225 or below as a junior heavyweight. So, I mean, the most popular, in my opinion, junior heavyweight of all time is Jushin Thunder Liger. Mm-hmm. Everybody has heard of him. He wrestled in WCW a lot, New Japan. He's wrestled all over the world. Their junior division is just as successful as the heavies are, the heavyweight division. Very, very good.
Okay, cool.
So, yeah, that'll be the first match of the night, the IWGP Junior Heavyweight Tag Team Championships.
Yep.
The next match of the night will be a gauntlet match for the Never Openweight 6-Man Tag Team Championship. For WWE fans out there, a 6-man Tag Team Championship, something you're not used to, but how exactly, kind of explain just, what is that like?
Ring of Honor fans will know, because Ring of Honor has a 6-man championship. Mm-hmm. I think Chikara has a trios championship, so... If you watch a lot of independent wrestling, you know what it is. It's a tag team match. It's a tag team of 3 guys, and altogether makes a 6-man match. But they have the never open weight titles, which means a lot to Japan and New Japan because there's no class limit, there's no weight limit. So the juniors and heavies can get in there and fight it out as well.
Okay, so that was my next question. What does a never open weight mean?
The never means something, and to be honest, like it's an acronym, and I can't remember what it's for. I'd have to look it up real quick, but it stands for something. It is an acronym.
Well, in this match, you got the Bullet Club, which is, let's see if I get some of these right. Bad Luck Fale, Tamatonga, and Tonga Loa.
Man, you're hitting these, dude.
I haven't been practicing, I swear. Yeah. Then they're going to take on Chaos, which is Beretta, Tomohiro Ishii, and then Toru Yano.
Yeah.
See, look, Brinkman's here live to set me straight on some of these pronunciations. They're going to also take on Michael Elgin and War Machine, which is Hanson and Raymond Rowe. Also, they're going to face Suzuki Gun, which is Taichi, Takashi Iizuka, and Zack Sabre Jr. That was easy. And also Taguchi Japan, which is Juice Robinson, Ryusuke Taguchi, and Togi Makabe.
Yeah.
And what this match, I was reading on your article. What this match is 2 teams are going to start this match. One team gets pinned, another team comes out.
Yep.
This is going to continue until the final 2 teams are in there and somebody gets a pinfall.
Yeah. So I'm expecting the champions to come out like the 4th or 5th team, which is Fale and the Gorillas of Destiny. This is going to be chaos. This is going to be pure chaos because
isn't one of the teams named Chaos?
Yeah. Beretta, Ishii, and Yano. That team by itself is going to be chaos because Yano is an idiot.
And these are teams of 3, correct?
These are teams of 3. Yeah. So it's going to be pure chaos. Like you said, 2 teams will start. One eliminates, another comes in. There's not really much to look over this match. I think the champions are going to retain. I think Fale and God hold on to the titles. I don't think Elgin and War Machine win since War Machine's rumored to go to WWE at the beginning of this year. Suzuki Gun there. Zack Sabre Jr. is one of the best in the world. Mm-hmm. That team, I don't think they're going to win. Taguchi Japan. That's just some guys thrown together. And Chaos, they might have a chance to steal it, but I don't think they will.
Now, let me ask you this. Sabre Jr. was in the Cruiserweight tournament on WWE. Why didn't they sign this cat?
I think they wanted to. I don't think Zach was ready. I think Zach had some other stuff that he wanted to do on the Indies or in Japan first before he went. I think same thing with Kota Ibushi. I think WWE wanted both of them, and they both decided not to take it because they had other stuff they wanted to do. So
very nice. So this because I'm just reading about this match. I'm like, Man, this is definitely something I've never seen as a long fan of WWE. Never, we've had gauntlet matches, but never a 6-man tag gauntlet match.
Yeah.
So this one's going to be very interesting.
It's gonna be a fun watch. It's gonna be chaotic.
And I have a feeling there might be a couple of instances where a team comes out and doesn't last very long. I don't know.
It's quite possible.
So we'll see what happens.
Before we move on, I looked up that NEVER acronym.
Okay.
The N stands for New Blood. The E is Evolution. The V is Valiantly. E Eternal, and R is Radical.
Okay.
That's what it stands for.
So that's what the NEVER Openweight stands for. So that was the gauntlet match for the NEVER Openweight 6-man tag team championship, which Brink expects the team of the Bullet Club to retain the titles.
I do.
The next match will be a special singles match. This one's a little interesting because you feature, of course, Cody. Poor bastard doesn't have a last name.
No.
And he's taking on Kota Ibushi, and it says right here, Cody with Brandy Rhodes. Is that his wife?
That is his wife.
And she's going to be ringside, I guess?
She was ringside with him last year. She was ringside with him for the G1.
Okay.
Special in Los Angeles.
Now, I've never seen his wife. Is she pretty good
Yeah,
looking?
Yeah, she's hot, dude.
She used to be in WWE. She used to be a ring announcer in WWE.
What was her? It was Brandy Rhodes?
I don't think it was Brandy Rhodes, but it was Brandy.
I don't remember that, but
yeah.
But anyway,
look her up. She's
this
beautiful.
originally was for the Ring of Honor World Heavyweight Championship.
It was, yes.
But of course, Cody lost it to
Dalton Castle.
Castle. So now it is just a regular singles match. Cody versus Kota Ibushi.
Yeah.
What's your thoughts on this match?
I think Cody lost the title because he's supposed to lose this match, and I don't think Ring of Honor wanted Ibushi with the Ring of Honor World title. I think Ibushi wins. I think it'll be a great match.
Mm-hmm.
But with Cody dropping the title last month, I think that just shows that Ibushi's going to win this match.
Yeah, and it's things like that. What makes it's kind of the Achilles heel of wrestling because when things like that happen, it almost gives away, like the whole thing with Omega and Jericho.
And they may change it up. They may throw something in there that might switch it up, but I don't see it happening.
But when things like that happen, it kind of almost gives away the end of the match. But nonetheless, it's going to be a great match.
Oh, it's going to be fantastic.
We were talking about, this is probably, arguably, if not certainly, been the best year of Cody's career.
Oh, hands down. Hands down.
They're expecting at least he's expecting big things because they're going to have that self-financed event here in America.
Yeah.
About a 10,000 seat thing. Him and the Young Bucks want to put something together here in America. So we're looking really forward. Is that going to be in March, actually? Did they announce a date for that?
I think they know a date, but I don't think they've announced a date. I think I saw one of the Young Bucks put on Twitter that they know the date, but they didn't say what the date was.
Because I could have sworn it was close to, if not leading up towards WrestleMania. And that
would make sense too, because all the wrestling fans going to be in New Orleans.
Mm-hmm. And I remember us talking about that a while back. Maybe not, but we can discuss more about that in future episodes. But nonetheless, Cody and Kota Ibushi, you think Ibushi is going to go over on Cody?
It's going to be a great match because Cody's a great worker. Like I said, had the best year of his professional career. Ibushi is amazing. Anybody who watched the Cruiserweight Classic knows what Ibushi's capable of. Him and Cedric Alexander had one of the best matches in that entire tournament. Ibushi's great.
So now you were saying that the reason you believe the reason Cody dropped the Ring of Honor World Championship is because that Ring of Honor didn't want Ibushi having the Ring of Honor World Championship because he is a New Japan wrestler.
Oh, I don't know. It's because they don't want him. I know with the working relationship that New Japan and Ring of Honor have, Ibushi has been one of those guys who's never gone and worked for Ring of Honor. So Ring of Honor might not know that well or know about Ibushi that well.
Because I was going to ask, how often does New Japan guys win Ring of Honor belts and vice versa?
Kushida, who we'll talk about here in a little bit, was the Ring of Honor television champion for a good while.
Okay.
I want to say Suzuki had a title too. Minoru Suzuki had a title there, but I can't remember what title it was. I know he fought Cody for the Ring of Honor title that Cody won. So, I mean, it's possible.
Yeah.
It's very possible. Ring of Honor guys have held titles in New Japan, so.
Okay, well.
Look at Skrull.
All right, I was wondering because I was like, man, how does that, because we were trying to figure out the logistics as how that working relation, I wonder they work, but Brink said I'm not in the front office, so I don't know. You should be, man.
Did you say Cody Rhodes' wife was still billed as Brandy Rhodes?
In WWE, she was Eden Styles, but in New Japan, she's being billed as Brandy Rhodes because, I think WWE doesn't have the the trademark to Rhodes for her, just for Cody. So I think it's just she goes as Brandy. But I don't think Brandy's missing an A from what I saw on New Japan's website. I don't know if that was a typo or if that's how they have to bill her for legal reasons.
Well, I don't know. In Japan, they do crazy things with the way they letter words. Because we were watching a New Japan show the other day, and some of the names they have in Japanese, and some of them they just have in English. I don't understand like what determines when they use English or Japan. So I don't know. It could be a Japanese thing.
That's something with the Japanese language that I don't understand.
I think that's ingenious. Now, when they announce them to the ring, do they say, "And here's Cody and Brandy Rhodes"?
It's. I think that's what they're going to do. They're going to introduce her being
like,
accompanied by Brandy Rhodes, and then Cody.
Yeah.
So that you have that, but for those of you who are wondering what Brandy Rhodes looks like, just go and Google her because she looks very good. She's a little chocolate flavored, but man, I love chocolate, man, and obviously Cody Rhodes loves him some chocolate too. So, but that's pretty much the thoughts there on the Cody versus Kota Ibushi match, which is now just a singles match, no longer for the Ring of Honor World Heavyweight Championship. The next match will be the Killer Elite Squad taking on Los Ingobernables de Japón.
He's so proud he can say it now.
I know because when I first was introduced by Brink to New Japan Pro Wrestling. Look, when I saw these names, I was like, there's no chance in hell. No chance in hell that I was going to be able to ever pronounce these names. And, Los Ingobernables de Japón was one of them I looked at and I was like, holy, what is that? He said it, boom, like that.
What does it mean?
It's the ungovernable of Japan.
So they're Mexican wrestlers?
Naito, when Naito transformed to the superstar he is now, he went to Mexico, joined up with Rush, Rush and another guy, I can't think of his name right now, but NXT fans know him as Andrade Cien Almas.
Oh, yeah.
And they were Los Ingobernables. They were the ungovernables. And Naito just took that gimmick and that faction to Japan, made his own little offshoot faction of it.
Yeah.
And that's what's exploded that the world knows today.
Nice.
Yes.
So they're taking on Killer Elite Squad, and it's Evil and Sonata representing Los Ingobernables de Japón. They won the World Tag League, so that right there is what got them their tag team championship match here. So give us your thoughts on that match.
Well, Evil and Sonata, I think, are in line for a big year this year. I think the entire Los Ingobernables de Japón faction is, because they are getting to the point of popularity that Bullet Club was at last year around the same time. Yeah, they're getting there.
Wow.
Naito easily gets one of the best reactions every time his music hits, no matter what arena they're playing in. I think even if Sonata win this one, Archer and Davey Boy Smith are two big dudes that have held the titles for the better part of last year. The last part of last year, I should say. So I think this is where we get a title change. I think even Evil and Sonata take it.
Yeah, you're talking about in your article how Los Ingobernables de Japón, all the members have a very good chance of walking out of Wrestle Kingdom with all of the belts. When I say all the belts, I mean most of the belts.
The ones they're up for, yeah.
Yeah, the ones that they're up for. So I don't know when the next New Japan show is, but
the next day.
The next day. So if you're a Los Ingobernables de Japón fan, then the next day you could be very happy because you could be seeing a lot of belts around the arms and waist of a lot of Los Ingobernables de Japón members. So you say Evil and Sonata defeat the Killer Elite Squad and become the IWGP Tag Team Champs.
That's what I say. But Cruz, if he's listening on our Discord server, will curse me because he says I'm a LIJ fanboy, which I can't deny that. I love Los Ingobernables de Japón, but I do have them winning this match.
Well, so far I'm looking at the Discord server and Cruz is not in there. So
come on, Cruz!
Come on, Cruz! You're missing out on some good stuff here. So that is the tag team match for the IWGP Tag Team Championships.
Hey, before we move on to the next one, did y'all see the Hogan's Knows Best episode where Hulk tried to get his daughter to date Davey Boy Smith Jr.?
I have not. I did not watch an episode of it.
And she didn't want to do it.
We talking about Brooke Hogan, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I would.
And then she was like, I don't know, Dad. And he's like, what are you talking about? He's a son of a legend.
Do it.
He's a young, built, good-looking guy. He even brought him over to the house. It was so awkward.
I tell you what, Hulk Hogan would not have to talk me into dating Brooke Hogan. I tell you what right now. Just like Cody would not.
Well, let me tell you something, brother. My daughter is here, ready to date.
Well, thanks. I'm ready to hear. I'm here, ready to date too, Mr. Hogan. So, anyways, back to New Japan. Hey, when we talk about Brooke Hogan, I get a little sidetracked sometimes.
Just Brooke?
Well, most beautiful women, but especially if their names are Alexa Bliss or Becky Lynch. Mm-hmm. So the next match, this was an interesting match. This is for the Never Openweight Championship. It's a loser haircut and no seconds death match. That's what it's been. That's what it said, right? You deemed it as a hair versus hair match.
Well, yeah, that's what it says on New Japan's website. I'm not sure what Wikipedia is referring to. But
it says loser haircut and no seconds death match.
Well, a lot of the gimmick matches in New Japan they'll label as a death match. Mm-hmm. There's not going to be a death, hopefully, but like just last month or a month before last, Suzuki and Yano had a Texas bull rope death match. That's how they build it, but yeah, there's definitely hair versus hair, and one of the better build-ups for any of these matches on this card.
Yeah, because I remember watching. I think it was the World Tag League Finals. I went watching at your house, and finally, I didn't understand what was being said in the promo, but he did something with his hair, and all of a sudden it's like, oh, he might put his hair up on the line.
For the entire World Tag League, Goto has been after Suzuki for a title shot for a Never Openweight Championship, and Suzuki has refused every time because Suzuki beat him earlier this year for the title. It's like, I don't have to give you, I have nothing to gain. Suzuki basically told Goto, you would have to basically give me your life. You have nothing that I want.
Jeez.
Yeah, there's nothing. It's like, Goto, you have everything to gain and nothing to lose. You need to have something to put on the line as well. And that's when Goto's like, all right, I'll shave my head bald. So I guess that was good enough for Suzuki. He accepted, and now we got hair versus hair. And if I'm not mistaken, if I'm reading into it right, if Suzuki loses, he's shaving his head too?
Yeah, because I thought at first it was only if Goto loses, he shaves his head, because my thought was that Suzuki was just putting his title on the line.
That's what I thought
was putting
as well.
his hair on the line. But, you were talking about the haircut that Suzuki has.
Oh, it's horrible.
It's horrible. So hopefully.
Really? See, that's where I was going to ask, because a lot of the Japanese wrestlers have pretty cool hair.
Yeah.
I was wondering if they both have like really cool hairdos. But
Goto has awesome hair.
Yeah.
Like, he has amazing hair. Suzuki does not.
I've got a picture like if Omega and Okada was in a hair versus hair match, like nobody would want to give up either one of their hair. Between Okada and Omega, that's for sure.
But Goto, if you can look him up real quick, Goto has some great hair. He really does.
Yeah, so
is it of the AJ Styles level of hairdom?
It is. I think Styles has grown longer. Yeah, Styles.
That's him?
That's Suzuki. That's Suzuki. Yeah. The corn maze looking hair.
Oh yeah, that's garbage. What's this guy doing?
Yeah, hopefully they.
Goto has great hair.
And I haven't picked a match yet, but for this match, I hope Goto wins this match, because I saw the picture that this hairstyle that Suzuki has, and get rid of that, man. Come on now,
it's almost shaved like it is.
That's
not going to lose much.
That is a pure heel hairstyle,
and you can't really tell by this picture I'm showing you. He has like a faux hawk on just the backside, not the top, just the backside.
Oh, okay.
That sounds like an absolutely messed up hairstyle. So
it fits him, but it's just horrible in general.
Who you got winning this match?
I got Goto winning. I got
Goto winning this match?
I got Goto retaining, keeping his hair, and shaving Suzuki.
I think this is the first match.
Oh, yeah.
Goto's got good hair.
There's only a second. Okay, I was about to say, this might be the first match you have a title changing hands, but you think Los Ingobernables de Japón is going to beat Killer Elite Squad for the Tag Team Championship. Also, let's see what we got here. Next match. Marty Scurll will be defending his IWGP Junior Heavyweight Championship in a fatal four-way match against Hiromu Takahashi,
good job,
Kushida, and Will Ospreay.
Yeah.
So this sounds like it could be a pretty fun match, because
a lot of these
because in New Japan, a lot of the matches they do sometimes like it's like a 6-on-6, 8-on-8, or just a 1-on-1. Fatal four-way, sometimes
this is very rare.
It's hard to come by.
These are very rare in New Japan. A lot of their bigger matches are title matches or one-on-one, or if they're tag teams, they're tag team matches. Very rare do we have a triple threat, a fatal four-way, fatal five-way, six-pack challenge, or whatever. This is extremely rare for New Japan to do this, and they got it with 4 of the top junior heavyweights in the world. Mm-hmm. Scurll, part of Bullet Club, super over everywhere he goes because he's part of Bullet Club. He's also a great wrestler.
He's got great hair, too.
Also has great hair. Kushida, the Time Splitter. He's multiple-time junior heavyweight champion.
What a great nickname.
The Time Splitter, yeah. I don't know if you've seen any of it. He likes to come out. His favorite movie is Back to the Future. So he comes out basically dressed as Marty McFly.
Yes.
It's great. Will Ospreay is, I think, like 23 years old.
That guy's
23 or
amazing.
24. He's fantastic. Broke the internet with Ricochet a couple years ago.
Yeah, the first match I saw with him was in Defiant Wrestling, but was What Culture Wrestling back then. I was just like, oh, my God, this guy's amazing.
Yeah, he's fantastic. Takahashi, Hiromu Takahashi, part of LIJ. Also fantastic, a former junior heavyweight champion. All four of these guys are former junior heavyweight champions. I strongly recommend anybody who gets New Japan World to look up Hiromu Takahashi versus Dragon Lee from earlier this year. One of the most physical and awesome matches you'll see from the junior heavyweights ever.
Right on.
It's awesome.
Who wins the match?
Skrull just won the title from Ospreay, who beat Kushida. I think it's Takahashi's time. LIJ fanboy talking here.
Los
But
I was waiting for him to tell me that the Los Ingobernables de Japón guy was going to win.
Yeah.
So he got Hiromu Takahashi.
Kushida and
match.
Takahashi had an awesome feud earlier this year. So I think it started at Wrestle Kingdom of last year. So they put on some damn good matches as well. Ospreay and Skrull have a history. I just think Takahashi takes it back. I think everybody's going to be expecting Skrull to retain or Kushida or Ospreay to win, and I think Takahashi steals it.
All right, so there you have
I
it
hope
for,
so, anyway.
for that match there. Anything you want to add?
No.
So we're going to move on to the next match now. These matches that are going to start, they're only getting better and better now. You got the IWGP Intercontinental Championship. Let's see. It's Hiroshi Tanahashi
Attaboy.
versus Jay White, who came out as Switchblade. Or is it Switchblade?
Switchblade, yep.
Switchblade. And now this match right here, you have I was reading your article. Apparently, Tanahashi has a couple of injuries.
He does.
That he's been fighting through, and he's going to go up now and defend the title against Jay White. So tell us what you think, how this is going to go about.
If I'm not mistaken, Tanahashi just recently got a leg injury. I'm not sure if it's his knee or what it is. It's something with his leg. But he's been battling for most of the past year with a partial torn bicep. He wrestled the entire G1 Climax with a partially torn bicep.
That's incredible.
Yeah, take notes, Dean Ambrose.
Before we move on, did y'all watch Raw last night? We were recording on a Tuesday.
I didn't.
Samoa Joe
recorded it.
Samoa Joe did an interview with Renee Young.
Oh yeah,
and
I think I know where you're going with this.
Yeah, it's amazing. Just Renee's reaction to what Joe said. Joe tells her that he's the one that put Dean out of action and made him a stay-at-home husband living off his wife's paycheck.
Yeah, we actually put the screen cap on our Mark Out Mania Facebook page. So go. I mean, it's not the video, but you can easily see Renee's reaction.
Oh, her reaction was great
in this screen cap. So, they were talking about how good Renee is, how they should just let Renee just slap the hell out of Samoa Joe.
My
so
God.
awesome, but. That might be setting up a little something when Dean comes back. Because right now, they say 9 months, but
WWE tends to lie about that stuff, too. But
yeah, they tend to overkill it. But
Anyway.
we'll see what happens when that comes down the line. But so you say we were talking about the Intercontinental Championship match.
Yes. Jay White is also a past young lion just coming back from excursion. I think he takes the title from Tanahashi because Tanahashi needs to heal. He needs to get his injuries seen about. And what better way to send him off than to have him put over the new guy just coming back and make him Intercontinental Champion.
Absolutely.
So, Jay White, I think he wrestled in Ring of Honor for a little bit. I think he did some stuff in Mexico on his excursion. He's originally from New Zealand.
Yeah.
And he's really good. Him and Ospreay have put on some great matches.
See, that's what I was going to ask you, because I saw Jay White getting some heat from fans on some of the wrestling boards that I'm on, and essentially those guys were saying he sucks.
Him and Ospreay had a match. I can't remember what promotion it was for. It was in the UK.
Yeah.
Or it may have been Ring of Honor. But they had a damn good match. I watched the match. Ospreay is good. Jay White is just as good.
Is Jay White good on the mic? Maybe that's why they're saying
he could probably use some. I haven't heard a lot of his promos, but from the little bit I have heard, he's got room to improve there. In ring wise, he's top notch.
Yeah. Let me ask you this too. That's the second time you said Young Lions.
Yeah.
Explain to everybody what Young Lions are.
The Young Lions are the young guys in New Japan that are training to be pro wrestlers in their dojo. They're called Young Lions. There's meaning behind it. I guess I don't know the meaning that well, but there's meaning behind it for them. They basically live in the dojo. They do chores. They wash clothes, fix the wrestlers' foods and stuff like that. They are the guys around ringside when you watch these New Japan shows. A lot of the big bumps that go towards the crowd, they're the ones in front of them, kind of protecting the people, protecting the wrestlers from the people and all that stuff. They're the ones that are bringing ice packs into the ring after the match for the wrestlers. They basically live wrestling and go through their school, still do their training, their workouts and everything.
So to equate it to American wrestling, that's kind of like being in the Performance Center at WWE?
It's a more hardcore Performance Center, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think in NXT they wash the other people's clothes and fix some food or stuff like that, but that's just a different culture, different lifestyle. That's how it is over there. They do have their own little tournaments and matches. They wrestle a lot of the dark matches too, so they get experience being on the road with everybody as well. So it's basically takes over their life and let them learn the wrestling business from wrestling on a personal level, how to manage yourself outside of the ring and when you're on the road and stuff like that. It's really, really cool.
Oh, cool.
Okada, Naito, Jay White, they were all young lions at one point in time. And Naito and Okada's about the main event. So
right.
Yeah.
Well, we'll get to that in just a little bit, but right before that, we're going to get to see a match that nobody ever really thought we were going to see. You know, when we first, I remember the first episode we did of this podcast, we recorded it the morning that Jericho first showed up in New Japan Pro. He didn't show up. He was on the Titantron or whatever you want to call it, and challenged Omega to a match at Wrestle Kingdom in 2 days. And, well, since then, it's been made much more than just official for a no disqualification match for the IWGP United States Heavyweight Championship. Kenny Omega defends against the Alpha, Chris Jericho. Now, I see no DQ match. This is probably the only no DQ match. Maybe the Fatal 4-Way, I think, might be under no DQ rules, too. But first of all, before you kind of get, I guess you can kind of implement this into your thoughts on the match, but what do you think the fact that they made this no DQ means?
They're going to use weapons.
That's about it.
Basically.
I thought maybe we might have some kind of interference.
There would be.
Maybe the Young Bucks come out and help Omega or something. I don't know.
That's quite possible. Mm-hmm. I don't know if it'll happen, but
I don't think it should. But
like I said, the Fatal 4-Way match, they're not going to have weapons. They're not going to use any kind of weapons or anything like that. They put the no DQ stipulation on this because it's personal. Mm-hmm. They made it personal. They're going to use weapons. I would be highly shocked if there's not blood from one, if not both of them, which is something that New Japan does not do a lot of. Mm-hmm. There's not a lot of blood. So just the fact that Omega bled when Jericho attacked him was shocking.
Mm-hmm.
That was so epic when he took the blood off the belt and wiped it on his face.
Yeah, that does not happen in New Japan very often. That's why I think it means even more. Mm-hmm. And I think Jericho said that in an interview. It's like this is the best thing he's done in his entire career.
Oh yeah, he's loving this. So from that standpoint, to me, as of right now, it looks like it's going to be a one-off thing. But since he's loving it, and as far as I know, now he's about to go on tour with Fozzy. So
yes.
I don't think he's going to win this title, then go on tour, maybe he could come back in New Japan and maybe have a run, a bigger run, I guess you can say. But as far as I'm concerned, I don't see any reason to have Jericho win this match. I mean, you're going to have, right now you kind of have Okada over 500 days as IWGP champion. Right now you have Omega, who won the title back in July at the G1 US climax, and he's had that title now for almost a couple hundred days.
Something like that,
close to it. So I think, one of the hottest stars in New Japan, do like Okada. Of course, you think Okada could drop the belt. We'll get to that in a second.
Get to that.
But I don't see Omega dropping this belt anytime soon.
No.
And if he would drop it, obviously it would be to a Chris Jericho. But I would not be surprised if maybe after Jericho is done touring, because when he's done touring, his last date of touring is April 8th, which is the same day as WrestleMania. unless WWE brings him back post WrestleMania to do some kind of storyline, I don't really see that happening. Maybe he flies back over to Japan and they might do something during the summer with him and Omega again. That could be possible.
It's extremely
where
possible.
They have a second match. Jericho could win it, and then down the line they have a third match. Omega wins it back, and then boom, you have your three matches. Kind of like the Omega Okada thing, which Omega technically never beat Okada, but
I mean,
something similar
not for
to
the
that
title, but
not for the title, but something similar to that could happen between Omega and Jericho, in my opinion.
well, I think Omega wins. I think it's going to be brutal since it's no DQ. I think they're going to use weapons. And there's going to be a lot of blood. I think Omega wins. But, I mean, we were talking about this earlier, but what if, just playing what if Jericho wins and then the Monday night after WrestleMania, his last Fozzy date's on WrestleMania, right? Mm-hmm. What if that Raw after Jericho shows up on Raw, IWGP United States Champion, and challenges Omega to a match? And if Omega wants his belt back, go to WWE and get it.
You see that?
How quick would the internet break?
No, the internet would be broken.
It would cease to exist.
The internet would break the second Jericho walks out of that curtain with that IWGP US title on WWE.
As soon as you hear "break the walls down," as soon as his music starts playing.
Yeah, that too. Especially if he wins. So that's going to be very interesting to see if Jericho wins this match. Where does New Japan take this? Because Jericho's about to go on tour. If he goes on tour, that title belt's not going to be seen for a couple of months.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So that'll be very interesting. Of course, I personally think Omega's going to win because he's the hottest thing. I mean, he was my wrestler of the year, as far as I'm concerned, last year, and he's the hottest thing in wrestling right now. And I think he's gonna. He might hold this belt for longer than Okada's held this IWGP Heavyweight title belt at right now.
The only situation I would see Jericho winning is if Jericho signed a deal for another day and did that show the next day and then dropped it right back to Omega the next day.
And that right there,
which would make sense if you want to get the shock factor of holy crap, Jericho just won. He actually won.
Yeah.
I don't see him doing that.
No, I don't see him doing that either.
I think Omega
Omega's
wins.
going to win that, but it's going to be a hell of a match.
Because I'll be very disappointed if they put the belt on Jericho just to have him drop it the next day. That's some WWE booking right there.
And I was about to say that doesn't sound like a New Japan type of booking.
That's
so I couldn't see that
booking.
happening. Maybe in a few weeks, because I'm not sure when Jericho's tour starts. I think it starts maybe late January, early February.
I don't know.
So I don't really know, but yeah, I think Omega wins the match.
I think
obviously.
so too.
I mean, what do you think, Ron? I know you have some thoughts on this match.
I think Omega wins as well. Because, like you're saying, he's fixing to go on tour with Fozzy. You don't
and
give the belt
it's things
to him.
like that. And obviously, pro wrestling, whether it's New Japan or WWE, has no control over that. But it's things like that. See, if Jericho wasn't going on tour, right here, people would start thinking maybe Jericho can win this match. But the fact that, one, most people think it's a one-off, and two, he's going on tour, it kind of almost gives it away that Omega's going to win this match. But despite the fact that everybody thinks Omega's going to win this match, it's going to be a tremendous match.
Oh, absolutely.
These two guys can wrestle probably a good 40, 45-minute match and tear the roof off that
place. Yeah. And I was also thinking this. What if Jericho, for some reason, wins, defends against Omega again, beats him again, goes on tour, does his thing, and then loses his title on his little cruise he's doing? Because he's doing a rock and wrestling cruise or something like that in October, I think.
Is that like a New Japan thing?
No, that is a Chris Jericho thing.
But see, he's
going to have ROH talent, isn't he?
He is.
Yeah.
I guess I could see in a way.
Ring of Honor has a working relationship with New Japan.
Yeah, and I could see that. I just, as far as...
a lot of people, the rumblings were that that's where they were going to meet, on his cruise.
Yeah.
And then, of course, the video dropped and all hell broke loose, but...
I think I'd rather it this way.
Yes.
Anyway, but...
there's no better place to have this match than Wrestle Kingdom, in my opinion.
Yeah.
So that's that match, and then of course the big main event, the IWGP Heavyweight Championship.
Hold on your horses, son.
Okay, well, my bad. I'm jumping the gun here. We got a poll here.
Yeah.
Ryan's got a poll.
We got that Facebook poll. Got to give some people some shout outs. So on our Facebook page, search Mark Out Mania. We put who's winning the match at Wrestle Kingdom 12, Omega or Jericho. All right, guys. 37% said what?
Jericho.
What do you think?
37%?
Yeah.
probably Jericho.
Yeah, you're right. 63% say Omega's winning.
I'll tell you what, that's how many votes total we had?
We had 35 votes.
Okay, 35. That's a nice little good little count there.
Yeah.
So 30, is it 37 you said? 37%?
37% of Jericho, yeah.
37%. Oh, Cruz said he needs the server name. Well, Cruz, we're about to end this, so sorry.
Better luck next time.
Yeah, better luck next time, buddy.
Oh, man. Supposedly, Patreon was supposed to send him something in his email about signing up. Automatically get him signed up.
Tell him we're pretty much about to wrap this up. We're on the last match anyway, about to be, so.
Let's see. Stephen Dodsworth said, it makes 100% sense for me for it to be Omega. We all know that he's going to end up in the WWE, and we all know that Jericho is coming to the end of his career. Jericho wanted this match to stamp his seal of approval on Kenny. And John Ritchie says, I'd have Jericho win, then have him start the Rumble as number 1 and a surprise entrant being Kenny Omega at 2 to have them both go through the entire Rumble, then make it a triple threat match with AJ at WrestleMania. But I don't know if that's likely.
That's highly unlikely.
I just almost flipped back in my chair when he said that. That dude needs to be hired as a freaking as a writer for New Japan or WWE.
No,
doesn't matter.
WWE doesn't hire fans. If you're a fan, they automatically throw your stuff out the door.
Really?
Yeah.
I should just walk up in there.
What's wrestling?
I've been writing. I
like Young and the Restless.
And you got to have 5 years of TV writing experience.
Oh man, I'll never work for WWE. I mean, not that I wouldn't want to, but I don't think I would ever have the resume to ever match up with anybody that's over there. So.
Yeah, and real quick before we go to the next match, I saw a shoot interview with Omega, and this is really funny. I don't know if you guys seen this, but like Omega, Colt Cabana, Johnny Mundo, Johnny Nitro, all those names. Yeah. They and a whole bunch of other like wrestlers were contracted by this multi-millionaire, and they did like private wrestling shows for him, and the guy taped them all. And he said it was crazy storylines like that you would see like in what's the one that they wrestle in the temple and
Lucha
Underground, yeah. Crazy storylines like that. But he said they all had like characters like Johnny the Plumber and Larry the Craftsman and stuff like that. He said it was the craziest thing he'd ever seen, but the dude paid him really good, and it lasted for like a few months. Mm-hmm. I thought that was hilarious.
This is awesome.
All right, so
what kind of music does Larry the Craftsman or come down to?
I don't know.
No telling. Just some working music, I guess. I don't know.
Bob the Builder theme.
There you go. That's what I was thinking.
You gonna tag team with Repo Man or
exactly.
All right, so we got one match left. It is the big main event, the IWGP Heavyweight Championship. Kazuchika Okada taking on Tetsuya Naito. The big main event. This one's they've been building this one up for a good little minute too.
Yeah.
It's been overshadowed by Omega Jericho, but your favorite one is Naito, right?
Naito and Okada are my top two.
Your top two guys. So, I mean, the big main event, I know you're really excited about it. Just tell us everything you want to tell us about this match.
Well, I want to start it off by saying that I think Omega and Jericho is the best thing to happen to Okada and Naito. Because Jericho has been talking mess about how they're the main event, and Naito's like, no, we're the main event. I think it's going to push Okada and Naito even harder to have a better match than Jericho and Omega. And I think in theory that's going to make this match so much better than the Jericho-Omega match is going to be. Mm-hmm. So I want to thank Jericho and Omega for making Okada and Naito that much better of a match. Naito, I'm a big believer history repeats itself. History will not be able to repeat itself. Okada has not lost a IWGP Heavyweight Championship match since 2016.
Jeez.
The last person to beat him for the title, Tetsuya Naito. Since New Japan started doing the briefcase, holding the contract for the G1 winners, none of them have been successful at Wrestle Kingdom, including Naito before. Naito has it again this year. So either the challenge rights holder or Okada loses to Naito. One of those things is going to be broken. I think it's the G1 Climax winner. I think Naito wins it. And before we talk about it some more, I have a list here of Meltzer's ratings of Naito's matches. Not Naito, Okada in the past year and a half. When Okada became champ last year, 2016, when he beat Naito, 4.5 stars. He faced Tomohiro Ishii in the G1 Climax this year. That was a 5-star match. Naomi Marufuji, another, he's a Pro Wrestling Noah guy. He fought Okada earlier this year. That was 4 3/4. Mm-hmm. I strongly suggest watching that match as well. Omega at Wrestle Kingdom, 6 stars. Minoru Suzuki the next month, 4 3/4. A non-title match against Tiger Mask W, who is Kota Ibushi, 4.5 stars. Title match against Katsuyori Shibata, the one that probably ended Shibata's career, 5 stars.
Dang, what happened?
Shibata is extremely stiff. He works very, very stiff, very hard, and has some of the most cringe-worthy headbutts, as in, like, he doesn't pull, he doesn't sell, he hits you.
Yeah.
Busted himself open, and after the match, he passed out.
Jeez.
They rushed him to the hospital and had a subdural hematoma. Basically had a big tumor on his brain.
Oh, my God.
From the headbutt, so he probably won't be wrestling again.
Holy cow.
Okada had a match with Bad Luck Fale, 4 stars. He pulled a 4-star match out of Fale. I love Fale, but 4 stars out of Fale is good. Mm-hmm. The sequel, Omega Okada 2, 6 1/4.
Dang.
That was the 60-minute time limit draw. Cody Rhodes, or Cody with no last name, 4.5 stars. The Omega the third, one of the G1 Climax, 6 stars. And then his most recent title defense against Evil, 4 stars. The dude puts on good matches.
Yeah.
That's the reason he's probably held that belt for over 500 days.
The
dude is...
He's a reason
he's the real deal.
He was PWI's number 1 when they released the top 500, the PWI 500. Mm-hmm. There's a reason he's number 1. He lost maybe 2 matches all year, singles matches.
One was to Omega, I know that.
One was to Omega, the other was to Evil. That's the only singles matches he lost all year.
Wow.
The only times he was pinned all year. Like, he has been, this is arguably the greatest title run ever, regardless of promotion.
Yeah, that's a fact. I mean, over 500 days, I mean.
And it's probably pushing 550 now. I don't know what the exact number is, but.
It's up there.
Yeah.
Certainly the longest reign we've seen of any wrestler probably in the last couple of decades, at least.
Well, I think the only other closest one is New Day. Did they pass 500 days?
I don't know.
One
if
with the tag titles?
No, they didn't.
Was it 500? I don't remember.
I'm not sure. I mean, then you have CM Punk's 434 day.
Yeah. How long was Goldberg? Because he was booked as unbeatable.
Goldberg was. I don't think Goldberg might have been.
Yeah, but Goldberg's title reign honestly was not all that long.
Really?
In WCW, no. He built up that long win streak before he won the title.
I think Goldberg's win streak, they just kept adding numbers of matches we never even saw. So I'm pretty sure he was not.
Well, how many times did he beat Hugh Morris?
Too many. I say too many, not enough, if anything. I think Hugh Morris was actually his first match.
I think so too. I think so too.
And everybody was surprised that he beat him the way he did. But yeah, Goldberg had a nice little streak there. But it wasn't. Goldberg's streak is not as impressive as this.
Mm-hmm. No, this is. I mean, Austin is great. I mean, Austin was the guy.
Oh yeah,
I don't think Austin will ever be on Okada's level, or in like Austin Prime.
Maybe not pure wrestling. As far as coming out and entertaining people,
yeah, no.
There was nobody better than Austin.
No, and I'm not debating that. I'm talking.
The reason I watch wrestling.
No, I understand that, but I'm just saying in the ring.
Oh, yeah.
And title reign wise, because Austin was never. I don't know if Austin was combined 500.
Oh no, Austin only had 6 title reigns in his last one. I mean, because when he got dropped by Owen Hart at whatever the pile driver.
Yeah.
After that,
that's why they can't do pile drivers anymore.
And the thing about Austin is, because I mean, I followed Austin's career very closely. When he'd win the title. You know, and he had that feud with McMahon for so long. McMahon did everything in his power to keep that title away from Austin. So at some point, Austin couldn't. I mean, Austin could have went 2 straight years as the WWE champion, and nobody would have been upset. But at the same time, McMahon had to find ways to get that title from Austin, and that's just the reason I think he never had the title for that long. And then, of course, when he came back from his injury in 2000. He became the champion, but he turned heel when he became champ at WrestleMania 17. And that title run, to me, in my opinion, just wasn't as fun for me. And even Austin regrets turning heel. You can go listen to Shoot interviews. He says, I should have gave McMahon a stunner right there after I shook his hand, but he thought at the time it was a good idea to go heel, and that didn't work out.
And that's what I like a lot about both Okada and Naito. They can play heel or face so well. Mm-hmm. Like in this feud, Naito is basically the face. He's the good guy because the crowds are cheering for Naito. And Okada can Okada's really good at listening to the crowd and then going the opposite way. If they're cheering him, then he'll go with them. If they're booing him and cheering Naito, then Okada's going to play the bad guy.
Oh, yeah.
Both of those guys are really good. And I know we're talking up Okada a lot. Naito is, in my opinion, on Okada's level.
Oh, yeah.
Naito and Okada have had an IWGP Heavyweight Championship match on a Wrestle Kingdom before, and it got demoted in favor of Tanahashi and Shinsuke Nakamura. The crowd wanted that match more. That's why Naito left. That's why Naito went to Mexico. That's where Naito met up with Rush and Andrade and Los Ingobernables. Then Naito came back to Japan with Los Ingobernables de Japón and exploded. So it's basically because of the fans 4 years ago, this is why we're getting the Naito that we're getting now. Mm-hmm. Because of the fans. And the fans love him.
And if anybody, I went and watched the rise and fall of Naito on YouTube. I forgot what the guy's name.
I think it's Showbuckle.
Yeah, it might be Showbuckle.
Showbuckle. I've seen his videos. Really good.
Anybody is still interested in getting into New Japan, I would recommend you guys go and watch this. Absolutely, it was a great video.
Showbuckle has videos. The rise and fall of Naito. He also has like a two-parter of the feud between Okada and Tanahashi. That's the feud that put Okada on the map. It's really, really good videos.
So, yeah, definitely go check that out. But so you got Naito winning the
I do.
match.
I got Naito winning. I got Naito saying his little speech that he does after every match that he wins, the last match in front of the Tokyo Dome, in front of 70,000 crazy wrestling fans. I think Naito wins it and ends the reign of Okada. And if Naito doesn't beat Okada, who will? I don't know who.
I mean, honestly, you asked that question. In my opinion, you can come back. Hypothetically, Jericho does beat Omega for that belt, and I don't know. Let's say he comes back to New Japan and he maybe fights Kenny again and has a run with New Japan. Jericho can go put some other guys over, and I could see them taking Omega. All right, Omega, you're gonna challenge Okada, and then they bring back the Okada Omega feud.
Omega would be the only other guy.
That would be the only.
It'd be Naito or Omega.
Yep. That'd be a hell of a triple threat match.
Don't tease me.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Don't tease me, man.
I'm sure I'm getting you very excited.
Oh,
but yeah, that's the New Japan pretty much preview. Went over every match, talked about each match, and kind of got off subject a little bit every now and again. But hey, it's all in good fun. So
just living the gimmick.
Ryan, any last words about the show or anything like that?
Man, no, I mean, kudos to you and your boys. They're going to be up so early to watch it.
Yeah,
golly,
we're going to
not even catching the replay. They're going to catch the live version. You guys are beasts.
That's a true fan right there.
We're going to cook breakfast and all the good stuff.
That's
man.
what I'm talking about. No, man. I mean, I just can't wait to please somebody pirate the Omega Jericho match and put it on YouTube.
It'll be on YouTube.
Somebody will have it on there, I promise.
It'll definitely be on YouTube probably by the time we wake up that morning.
Yeah.
So
now I would love for you to be there as well, Patrick.
I'm gonna try.
Hey, you're invited too.
Oh God, no, I can't do that.
The way the holidays
I'm too old.
The way the holidays were for me, I don't know, my sleep schedule kind of got messed up a little bit. Now I'm back at work, my regular 8 to 5 job, so I might get thrown off a little bit. I'm pretty much going to decide this tomorrow night, probably a few hours before the show, whether I go watch it or not. I doubt it because I just need my sleep.
Yeah.
But Brink's taking a nice little selfie here on his Snapchat there as I do the finger pose. But yeah, I know this show is going to be absolutely phenomenal. If I don't catch it live, I will do my best to catch highlights online. I really don't want to see any spoilers. I don't even want it to get spoiled for me as far as I'm concerned. Brink, any final thoughts on this show?
I think if you have the chance to tune in or watch it later that day, I would suggest doing it. This is going to be their big show of the year, probably their best show of the year, with some of the best matches that'll probably be up for match of the year contention at the end of the year.
Yeah, certainly the two main events will be early candidates
Oh,
for
absolutely.
match of the year, and I'll be interested to see, especially after the matches are over, what Dave Meltzer gives some of these matches. I'm sure he'll be.
I'm very interested in that because he catches a lot of grief from a lot of people, but I'm interested to see what he's going to be saying about it.
Uncle Dave.
Yeah.
Well,
now, let me ask you this. Now, you said the website, and before we leave, I want you to tell people where they can watch it again. Do they have like a Roku app or like a app in the...
I don't use Roku, so I'm not sure if they have it on Roku or not.
Yeah.
I just use their website. I stream it through my Xbox.
Oh, okay,
on,
I got you.
On Microsoft Edge, and just
Yeah.
type in, it's basically a web page.
Yeah.
It's not like an actual app like the WWE Network. It's an actual web page.
See, that's good, because I was thinking, how much of a downer would it be to watch that on a laptop or a computer screen? And cool. So, yeah, you can stream it through your video game system
Yes.
to get it on your TV. And what's the website again?
NJPWworld.com.
Yeah, and so also if you have like a Roku, you may be able to search NJPW World and maybe see if they
Maybe
have
so.
one on there. Yeah.
I don't use Roku, so I'm not too familiar with it, but laptop for sure. It streams through my Xbox. I've tried streaming through my PlayStation 4. It does not work.
Come on, Sony. You're a Japanese company.
It does not work. I pulled it up on
Where's the love?
PS4's internet browser.
Yeah.
It could not pull it up,
That's
but it
messed up.
pulls it up on Xbox. So Microsoft, you're good.
Yeah. It's because Bill Gates is the bomb.
absolutely. So that was your final words there,
Yeah,
Brink, for
I'm
the
good.
show.
If you find a chance or get a chance to watch the show, I strongly suggest watching it.
I don't have anything else to say. So with that being said, Ryan, you want to go ahead and conclude us?
Yeah. Be sure to follow Brink on Twitter, Rainmaker Conga. Be sure to follow us on Twitter, Mark Out Mania.
And also go to our websites, MarkOutMania.com, the Spoiler Alert blog. That's all Brinkman. He likes to write articles and stuff. I'm sure he'll when Wrestle Kingdom's over, he'll probably put his thoughts on there.
Oh yeah.
Do like a review article, and then I'm sure we'll have a Royal Rumble preview article coming up at some point once the final card is kind of.
I think also closer to Royal Rumble too. If y'all want to have me on again, so I can show y'all how to fill out the scorecards correctly.
Oh, okay, yeah. Hey, I tell you what, it's a new year. The Royal Rumble on January 28th is coming up, and I am determined. I'm interested to see how PW scorecards, which I still need to work on contacting them to see if we can get them on the show.
Vegas
how,
boys.
How they're going to do the Royal Rumble match, because last year, I don't know if they did the scorecards for the Royal Rumble. I think they started doing these scorecards at WrestleMania last year. So it'll be interesting to see how they do that. But be sure, of course, in the next few weeks to, keep, stay tuned to our Twitter, Facebook, and all that stuff. Also our website, Mark Out Mania, with the Spoiler Alert blog. And we're going to have a lot of fun stuff coming up. You got Wrestle Kingdom coming up in a couple of days, and also the Royal Rumble right around the corner, then WrestleMania season. So
It's a very fun time to be a wrestling fan.
yeah, it's football season, at least college football season, it pretty much just winded down. There's only one college football game left, for me at least. It's exciting that once you turn the corner from football season or college football season, it's Wrestle Kingdom, and then it's WrestleMania season right after that. So a lot of things to look forward to as a wrestling fan coming up. Brink, thanks for coming in today.
Thank y'all for
hanging
having
out
me.
with us.
Yeah, most
and
definitely.
if anything, if we can, we might for real bring you back on for the Royal Rumble. So if our work, even if you can't come in the studio, we'd be more than glad to have you on that phone there. So,
Or we can Skype him.
or we can
got
Skype
Skype.
you too.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
got
Skype.
Skype.
We can get you on Skype too, and definitely would like to have you on the.
Oh, I'm gonna do everything I can to be in studio. Just
Yeah, right on.
as a fan listening to podcasts, sometimes it gets hard to understand people through a phone. So doing it in
Well, I tell
person,
you what,
I think is a lot
did you
better.
listen to our
so.
one with Matt Zion?
I did.
Did he sound pretty good?
He sounded good.
Well, he was on Skype, so that wasn't even through
Well,
a phone.
that's why it was
so
on Skype.
it was
Yeah,
on- we got him through Skype. So
He
having
sounded good.
people through Skype is, you could tell it's on Skype, but it's honestly it's not bad at all.
clear audio,
much
yeah.
better than a phone line. So
Yeah.
once again, Brink, thank you for coming in
Thank
here
y'all for
talking New
having me.
Japan Pro Wrestling with us. I know you're excited about
Extremely.
Wrestle Kingdom. I'm sure as most wrestling fans out there, at least New Japan Pro Wrestling fans are very excited. So now, Ryan, go ahead, do the honors of concluding this.
Yeah, Brink, anytime you want to come back, we got a microphone for you, brother.
I appreciate it. Thank
All
you.
right, for Brink, Patrick, my name is Ryan. We're out.
You've been listening to the Mark Out Mania podcast, a Lake Area Media LLC production. The views and opinions expressed in this show are those of Ryan Keith and Patrick Fry and are not affiliated with any wrestling promotion or company. Follow Mark Out Mania on Facebook and subscribe to us on YouTube. For all Mark Out Mania links, news, and free podcasts, visit MarkOutMania.com. You've been marked.